basketball standards, as we're recording this on Monday evening, a relatively calm Monday, especially with for women's basketball standards. I feel like the biggest news we talked about Satu, Andrew and I when the news came out from Unrivaled. Johnny, we're still pushing to Indiana. The dream is alive to get Satu to Indy. We saw Kelsey Plum get cored, which is I feel like expected, frankly, at this point. What will happen with that core is really the news that matters. I feel like I don't think that's too big of a surprise. But something that is, I feel like probably the most notable that we haven't talked about is Chennedy Carter and what her future looks like with the Chicago Sky, as the Sky sent out their qualifying offers to Michaela Onyenwere, Dana Evans, and Nicolina Milic, and Chennedy Carter was not of that group to receive a qualifying offer. So now let me preface this before we get into the actual dialogue of this. This does not mean that Chennedy Carter cannot receive this qualifying offer from the Chicago Sky. It could happen tomorrow for all we know. But generally speaking, within the WNBA, when you see qualifying offers go out, they go out in groups. So the fact that it was not given to Chennedy Carter feels very, very notable here about her future with the Chicago Sky and what that looks like. Because as of right now, she is set to hit the open market in free agency. So not a sign and trade, nothing like that, purely open market. Which becomes very interesting because I feel like for Chicago Sky fans, that has been the biggest question of the offseason as we get into this offseason period for the WNBA is what do the Chicago Sky decide to do with Chennedy Carter? And as we find this out, and again, doubt increases on her return. I guess what are y'all initial thoughts on this and the Sky deciding potentially to let Chennedy Carter test the free market without any restriction? Greer, I know you've been super high on what Chennedy Carter was able to produce in this past season, in her first season in Chicago. Obviously a new head coach in Chicago in Tyler Marsh, which you can go check out our interview with him, kind of get a sense of what the vibes are in that sense. But Greer, from a Chennedy Carter perspective, the potential for walking free, what are your initial emotions and thoughts on that?
I mean, I don't. Would it be? I guess it would be a situation. She's a restricted free agent, right?
So if they give the offer, so that's the thing is like as of right now they haven't even.
I think letting her go for nothing is not great. Like that's just. I think that she's proven, even in a one season of like being back in the W with consistency. I think she's already proven that she is on that upper tier of guards in this league. Like I don't have any. I've seen enough personally. Does she vibe with Marsh's philosophy and what they want to build there now? I don't know. And I can remember like, even before Marsh was hired, there was kind of like murmurs. I feel like maybe even she was on social and it kind of felt like she was 1 foot out the door a little bit. And like,
it was weird.
It certainly didn't feel like the Chicago front office wanted to commit to her in any like real, like tangible capacity, like before this time period opened up. So I think it would be a mistake for Chicago to let her go. Outside of obviously their super, super young front court and Angel and Camilla, she was their most consistent player last year, came off the bench to start the season, finished the season starting, and was still as productive. You know what I mean? Obviously, I think she had a great relationship with Teresa Witherspoon, who's no longer the coach there. But I think like given Marsh's track record, like you just don't happen upon players like Chennedy Carter. You just don't see somebody who was missing from this league specifically for a couple of years and then just come in and just have the impact that she had. So, everybody's going to be signing like 1-year deals here, you know what I mean, in the short term before this CBA and things get figured out. And I just think it would be like a pretty big mistake for Chicago to not find a way to re-sign her or get, some value back for her.
Yeah, No, I'm there with you, Shawnee. Where are you sending that with this?
Chicago's cheap, so I think they're going. Because how do I say this? We're seeing an archetype of player where the more wicked the handles, the more volatile the social media handle is, and that comes into play. Shout out to Rutgers, but that might be what is the deciding factor here. Like you hoop, but at what cost? Like, are we comfortable with the attention you bring when you go on tirades like this? And it's not like a social justice type thing. It's like, I hate her. I don't like this hoe specifically. And it's like, for me, cinema as a fan.
I'm going to say, but I understand. For me?
And it's like, with Renee Monk, war criminal, right? What happened in Atlanta, I still don't agree with how that was handled, right? What happened in LA, I still feel like she was scapegoated. But there comes a point to now it's like, all right, we're at the end of the line. You got to step up and show up and like be a professional. And I think that Chicago is an excellent fit for her. So I really hope that she can like do what needs to be done to fit into what they're going. Because Tyler Marsh isn't really. Spoon had to me the temperament where it's like, yeah, we turning up. And then like Spoon kind of reeled it back in. Tyler Marsh is a more even keeled, dude. So I don't know if that's kind of their direction. Like we want to be known as Bill Laimbeer didn't mind being bad boy Pistons, right? So if we get into a fight, we do this, I'm Bill Laimbeer. I'll fight too. So I just it just might be, some professionalism type stuff. And I hope it's not. I hope they are just being cheap, and I hope they stop being cheap and like give her the offer. But I just hope all parties can get on one accord because it was cinema. I like seeing it. So I'm with it. And I think if you look around the league, so we're done with LA, definitely done with Atlanta because they're still being weird. Seattle, per sources, the Chicago Sky got a lot going on.
Yeah.
Liberty kind of full. Fever. That's not.
Yeah.
Ultimate.
Hey, that's Pat Bev and Russ teaming up. That's Pat Bev and Russ on the same team, man.
Hey,
hold on. Now I said it out loud, and I was like, "Well, what if?" I don't think Fever fans would be fair.
Everybody would just be looking at each other in that get along shirt, like, I don't know about that one, Chief. Yeah.
It's like it's everyone. Yeah.
But like, yeah. So when you look at places she fits, like Fraud, Liberty, full, Minnesota Lynx, I don't think they're, if you still have Courtney Williams, I don't know if that meshes with what they're doing. Vegas would be interesting, since their stuff is going on over there. So I could see that. So it's like I think Chicago's being cheap, and I think they know that like the market of who can pay her and who is going to pay her isn't as high. So they're like, we'll get to it. Now, I'm not a numbers person. I'm a hater. So I could just be pulling this out of my butt, and I don't know. Don't spin the block and quote me on this because I'm just yapping.
Yeah, I mean, but I think it's an interesting point, though, kind of in similar ways to what both of y'all made about it feels like this could be a distancing from the past year. Because whether it be with firing Coach Spoon, if moving on from Chennedy is part of that, it feels like whatever was going on, and we still don't really know, to be honest. Like we've heard stuff on our own, and we've seen some of this, like the exit interviews being weird. Like something was happening. I don't know exactly what that was, but something was happening. So I don't want to like place blame on any one party or anything like that because we just don't know. So that
it's the mascot. I don't understand why.
Now that I'll blame. I will blame that Ellie knockoff any day of the week.
And I don't understand why it doesn't go back. Like, the locker room issues didn't really start occurring until she pulled up.
Mm-hmm. I don't like that.
Why
mascot.
are we not?
I don't like that mascot. But no, that's where I'm. If it becomes a thing about distancing yourself from, I guess, the Spoon era, quote unquote, if you know,
It's like 45 minutes.
It was like 6 months. But like, you know, like that's kind of the only thing I can compute in my brain is that is what this is. Because from an on-court perspective, who are you replacing her with right now?
Right.
I don't think that there is anybody. And then if you're looking at the draft board, you know, more than likely Paige and Olivia Miles are going 1 and 2. You're likely not ending up with a point guard to run your offense at 3. That's not what you're drafting. Now you could get someone to surround a Chennedy Carter and your bigs, like a Sonia Citron, like someone like that. But when it comes to a replacement directly for Chennedy, that you're saying we're gonna go this way instead.
Hang on. Hang on. Because I saw somebody drop 25 tonight in the PMAC.
I mean, there's certainly a connection there.
So, like,
speaking about Flau'jae Johnson, by the way, for those that didn't see the game against Vandy, which was insane.
It's like, did Rutgers play tonight? Is she even eligible?
Vandy, you gotta get it done. You gotta get it done, Vandy. One of these wins, you're gonna get it. You're gonna make it happen. But that's beside the point.
Anchors almost all the way down.
You're so close.
The point being is like you need so many things to go right. Mm-hmm. To even land to somebody like a Flau'jae at 3. You hear what I'm saying? But like 100%. It's not completely out of the realm of possibility, right?
But it's unlikely.
Super unlikely. I mean, also another team that I would be very interested in Kennedy services, and that's the Golden State Valkyries. You guys don't have
anybody.
That would be fun.
You know what I mean? Let Kennedy cook, sell some seats, sell some tickets, sell some jerseys, sell some.
Kate Martin, Chennedy Carter, Casey and the Sunshine Band. Let's go. Come on.
I can get behind that. It's not really like the 3-point philosophy, but like hoops. So like real hoops. I can get behind real hoops on any day. So I guess to me, like right now, where we stand as what we know right now, which is truly only as of this moment, Chennedy Carter has not received her qualifying offer. That is it. That's all we know. I guess I don't see the logic behind at least not offering that, because you don't have to match it. You know, like you just give yourself the leverage to do that from a Chicago Sky front office perspective. Yeah. Right now, you're just letting her go free. So that's no sign and trade. That's no like you can match. You know, if the market is bad, you can match that deal if you have the qualifying offer, or there is no deals and she accepts the qualifying offer. Like I which I don't really think would be the case, but like. Just laying out the options here, I don't see a reason to just let her go free. That makes no sense to me.
What I can just definitively say is I mean, I'm gonna, but I don't really want to watch a league where Chennedy Carter's not a part of it. Not after the season that she had last year, right? Not like I believe in her ability that much, and like with, you know, like years under her belt, like consistency, like. She is a top 4 or 5 guard at worst in this league. Maybe I don't, maybe that changes after this upcoming draft, but maybe not. You know, like she can get better too, and that's the other crazy part is like with some buy-in, with more chemistry with teammates. Like I don't even think she's come close to hitting her ceiling in this league, and so. All of the powers that
she just got consistent playing time. Like, God dang.
Yeah.
The powers that be need to figure out a way to keep her in this league, especially after the season that she just had.
Yeah.
Okay. So question, because what if it's like, and again, correct me because I specialize in hate, not contracts. What if they like, we don't want to offer it because if we offer this, right, and she goes here and they offer her this, and she's like offended by what we offered her. Whereas if we could just see what everybody else is doing and then be like, okay, so we're going to give you this, but like we also offer this, and this, you know, buy in, but like they don't want to like be the first person to lowball and offend her.
Yeah.
Because again, I feel like it all goes back to Chicago. Do they got it like that? Like I'm pocket watching.
They do.
Aren't they broke boys?
They have cap space. They got
cap space. Oh, see, then I don't know what's going on.
Especially if it's a 1-year deal, like which is what's anticipated pretty much across the league. So in that case, right, what would happen if that was their mindset? It's like you can go figure out what's going on, like, but to guarantee that she comes, like there is a level of you still offer the qualifying offer, because then you have the choice to match it. And if you don't want to match it, then it becomes it's kind of whatever.
Okay, like I said.
So again, even with that, you would still want the qualifying offer. Again, there is zero. If you don't offer this, there's absolutely nothing stopping Chennedy Carter from getting an offer somewhere else and just going. So that's why that's why I'm still confused that there is no offer. And again, because I do want to preface this is not a definitive. Chennedy Carter is not being offered this. It is, as of right now, 3 of the 4 restricted free agents out of Chicago have been offered this qualifying offer, and Chennedy Carter is the lone one that has not been offered it, which is just very alarming and red flag of their vision of Chennedy Carter being in this Chicago Sky organization long term. So that's where we're at with Chennedy. I from a leverage perspective, I don't get it. Like at worst, at best, like from a Chennedy Carter like being on your basketball team. From an on-court perspective, what we know, the Chicago Sky are worse without Chennedy Carter on their roster. Like that, I think that is very easy to say. As opposed to any of the other guards that they have still on their roster right now, I think that is definitive to say. Again, we don't know what else is going on behind the scenes. If anything, like we don't know, we're not privy to any of that. Vibes seem off. Everything seems weird. Eye emojis all around the Chicago Sky organization, which is just not a first, frankly, for this organization and how they operate. Never forget the tragedy of James Wade.